Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So you can tell we're out at the range today. Just got back from retrieving my target, so no range footage, but we'll go over the target when we get back to the house. The main topic of today's video was going to be this guy. It's a beast. CVA Scout 450 Bushmaster. It's gonna be sweet. Gonna be. And here's why it's gonna be, but it's not right now. Let's see. I'm not gonna be able to get this on camera. The scope is loose. The base, the mount to the rifle itself is loose. So lovely. But all right, y'all stay tuned. We'll go over the target. Let's get back to the house. All right, so we're back at the house and we're gonna go over the target, which is absolutely atrocious, because this is why it's atrocious, in my opinion. You guys tell me what you think. Check that out. Yeah, I'd say she's loose. Just a touch. What do y'all think? So, and I've got the Swamp Fox optics, 4-16 by 44. I think this is the Patriot, I believe. I did a video on this. It was comparing it more so to the Arkin SH4 Gen 2, which is a very unfair comparison in my opinion. But all the details about this particular optic are in that video. And yes, it's pretty pointless to put it on a single shot 450 Bushmaster. This is a first focal plane scope with, you know, it's more geared toward competitive shooters, PRS style type stuff. So not exactly the your typical application, putting it on this type of setup, but I just wanted to throw it on there because pretty much the rings and everything lined up with the scope base here. So I just wanted to throw it on there to have something to use to go, you know, sight it in, put some rounds through the barrel and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so that's a little loose. And here's the target. So I was shooting on top of kind of a target that I'd already shot previously. This was some of the stuff where I was shooting the 65 grain Game King using Shooter's World Match Rifle. So I had shot this target previously and just threw some additional dots on there to shoot at. And my point of aim was here. Let's see, first shot was right here. So I guess we can go over, you know, kind of the load data that we were operating with. So we're using Starline brass. It's brand new Starline 450 Bushmaster brass, using the Hornady 245 grain soft point, just your standard round nose kind of soft point bullet. So that was what we're using there, 245 grains. Winchester 296 powder. That's one of the better velocity options that Hornady has load data for, so that was why I selected that one. Primers were CCI 400 primers. Cartridge overall length 2.225. I believe that's what the manual calls out. That's what we loaded to. And then this is just your min and max on the load data. It goes from 29.4 up to 40.4 in the Hornady manual. But again, this is just like loading. If you wanted to load, you know, 300 Blackout Supers, or if you wanted to, or if you're loading for 350 Legend, you know, you're already limited. You're working with a restricted platform, so to speak. And so, you know, this is not a speed demon by any means. Okay. I think in the manual, I believe that max charge, I think you're looking at like 2,200 feet per second, I believe. So, but a 245 grain bullet going 2,200 feet per second, that's going to bring some energy with it, right? And so initially, after I bought the box of bullets, and I picked all this stuff up from Mr. Big Guns over in Huntsville, in case you're wondering. But once I had the box of bullets. In my mind, I was like, okay, it's a box of 100. Well, it was actually a box of 50. And I didn't realize that until I had already started loading for these guys, because I had everything set up, ready to go. And started looking at the box, and I was like, oh, there's only 50. So I don't want to burn through the whole box, you know, kind of right off the bat, just sort of breaking in the barrel and all that fun stuff. So originally I was going to start at 38.6 and work my way down to 40.4. Obviously we're hanging out toward the top end of that charge weight range. And again, it's to really maximize our velocity for hunting purposes, right? That's what this rifle is going to be used for. Hunting purposes, we want to try to push as much velocity as we can safely in this setup. So that's why I kind of cut out these first 5 that I was going to load if the box would have been 100, but since it's only 50, I kind of cut that in half. So we started at 39.6, which is starting pretty near max, which is not always the smartest thing to do, but I felt confident we weren't going to blow our face off like Johnny's reloading bench says, so we just went with that, 39.6. We were going to go up to 40.4, and I was going to grab a velocity. I was actually going to use one of these to test velocity. So the reason why there's only 4 at the top charge loaded up instead of 5 like there should be is because when I was seating the bullets for this particular guy right here, had the powder charge in it and everything, I go to seat it, go to put it in the press, you know, put it in the shell holder. I accidentally, I don't know how, but I hit it or something, and I fumbled with the case and dropped it. It kind of got knocked over on its side. Powder went everywhere. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to let it be, right? We're not going to get frustrated over that, not going to get worked up. We'll just let that be a 3-shot group, and then I was just going to use 1 to grab velocity on the range trip today. But as I was shooting, right, I mean, you guys can tell this is pretty ugly. This was my very first shot of that 39.6 grain charge, so not too bad on my point of aim, point of impact, my bore sight. I did the bore sighting on it. I was actually pretty close. And so I was like, well, I'm pretty close. Let me just shoot the next 4 and see if we have a halfway decent group. Well, that was the first one. Then here's shot 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the next 4 were over here, and I was like, well, they kind of tried to group, it seemed like, so okay. You know, I was thinking, all right, no big deal, I guess is what it is. Made a little bit of a scope adjustment and went to the next group, which was 39.8. That's these guys over here. So the first one was, again, low, even though I had already shifted the scope up, shifted it up and to the right. So then my point of aim changed to this dot, right? Original was here. We were hitting low and to the left. So I made an adjustment up and to the right. Shot here, point of aim. First one, second one, third, fourth, fifth. So you can see out of that group, I mean, I'm closer to my point of aim. So I was like, okay, well, all right, maybe just make a slight adjustment. Let me just go up a little bit more. And then should be pretty much good to go. Go up a little bit more and then go to the right. Should be good. Well, so then here's the 40 grain group. First one, second one, third one, fourth one up here, and then the 5th one dropped down here. So I was like, okay, what is going on, right? That's pretty terrible, because I was losing a lot of confidence in this overall setup, because, man, this thing is sweet. Look at this guy. I mean, it just looks mean, right? It looks like it's definitely gonna get the job done, right, on anything we shoot, you know, with it. So I was really hoping for some better performance than this, and I think we're gonna see much better performance once we fix that. So I'm pretty pumped about the setup overall, though. I've actually had a 450 Bushmaster before, It was a Ruger American Ranch rifle. So that's that little short, compact, I believe it was like in the coyote tan color. And I really like the cartridge. I've actually got some of my first videos, possibly my first videos that I uploaded on YouTube were for the 450 Bushmaster. They're some of the oldest videos I have on the channel. And they're some of the most viewed videos. I think they are the most viewed videos that I have on the channel, but they're pretty terrible. So we're gonna circle back around and get back into reloading for the 450 Bushmaster. One thing I didn't really like about the Ruger American, I mean, this cartridge can be a thumper. So in that Ruger American, it just, man, that's such a lightweight package, and it beat the crap out of me when I used to shoot it. That was part of the reason why I got rid of it in the first place. You know, it just wasn't really a whole lot of fun to shoot, going to the range and doing this type of stuff where you're gonna sit down and shoot, you know, anywhere from 25 to 50 rounds. Shooting 25 to 50 rounds of 450 Bushmaster in a really lightweight package like that Ruger American, and that beats you to death. And so that's one of the things I like about this setup. It's a heavier setup, heavier rifle. Of course, scope weight add a little bit to it, but we've got that muzzle brake on there as well. So it all kind of felt very tame shooting it today. It was pretty good. You definitely notice it. I mean, it's got a little bit of punch to it, but definitely not like what I recall shooting that Ruger American. So I think that's where we're gonna leave it. Short video, nothing too crazy. I was literally getting geared up to put my phone on my tripod and get some range footage of me shooting this thing. Even though it was looking terrible like this, I had actually taken my phone out of the case and I was getting ready to put it in the tripod, and I go to grab this, and I set everything up just like this right on the shooting bench. I had everything set up just like this. And I was like, man, I just wonder if the scope, So that was how I found it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna waste my time. This is pointless. I'm just wasting components at this point, right? So we're gonna go back. I'm gonna take all this off, take this base off, torque everything back down, clean everything up. That's my fault, didn't check it coming from the factory, and probably should have took it apart in the first place, removed any oils or anything like that, you know, from the machining and stuff that they have in there. I should have done that from the beginning, but I didn't, so that's on me. But that's where we're gonna leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So 450 Bushmaster is back in an ugly way to start with, but I think this is gonna be a fun project. We're gonna work up some really good loads with it and go out, see if we can't kill us a deer or a hog or a coyote, something, and see how it performs in the woods. So that's where we're gonna leave it. Don't forget, you guys need anything reloading wise, firearm wise, you name it, make sure you go to Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville. That is my #1 recommendation for places to shop locally. They have an online store as well, MrBigGuns.com. So don't hesitate, check those guys out, see what you think. So that's it. That's where we're gonna leave it. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.